And welcome to In-Game Chats for Saturday, February 22nd, 2020. It's Season 14, Episode 5. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
And welcome to the show, everybody. Bama Brian 17 says, where's this theme music from? By the way, if you will go back to, has it been now? It's been over 10 years, 12 years ago. Actually, maybe longer than that. Maybe 13 years ago. To a little game called Crackdown for the Xbox 360. It's the main theme music from that game, I guess. The main menu music. I don't know about the theme music, but main menu music. Which is actually, Crackdown had a lot of tracks in it that were licensed remixes, I think. Mm-hmm. In other words, they didn't really have a composer. They got tracks from artists. And then they did little mixes here, and they used those. They licensed tracks from artists. Because I've heard this, I guess in its original capacity.
Yeah.
Sounds a whole lot different. So.
Yeah, this is one of those games you really did a lot of trophy hunting in that thing.
I did a lot, yeah. And not really. It got down to where I had a few to go. You know, it was all the orb collecting, really.
Yeah, orb collecting.
Yeah, and I'd gotten down to where it was like, oh, there's only like 10 left I need to pick up. Might as well get them. Mm-hmm. I really didn't start out to do that. But as you play the game, you just come across them so much that, you know, it's a thing that happens. And so when you get down to it and you realize that, oh, wow, I think there were 500. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I've gotten 415 of these things. I might as well get the rest of the 75. Mm-hmm. But honestly, through regular play, you'll probably end up getting all but maybe 50, and I'm putting a high number on that. I think it's more closer to something like 25 or maybe in the teens that you have left.
Yeah. Well, it stands to reason that in the area that big, the less you have left, the harder it is to find, because you've been pretty much everywhere around that city.
They didn't really hide them, to be honest with you. They really didn't hide them. They you'd get a tone, you'd hear a tone when one was nearby, and you'd have to find it. But they're these big glowing green things. Didn't really hide them too much. There was
not even obscure locations like tip top of a building, the tallest building in the city or something.
Well, no. There was an achievement to get to the tallest building in the city, and so even from distances, which by the way, that was the tower, the tower for the agents,
right?
So even if you, that was the center island where there were the three other islands around it, and you could see the top of it from the other three islands, and you could see there was a little thing up there, green little glowy thing. You knew there was one at the top, and the whole point of the top, and I think a story mission might even put you up there, eventually. I can't remember there being any kind of obscure areas. There could have been an idea of, oh wait, it's in this cave that's under me. I hear it ringing, but I don't see it anywhere.
No underground tunnel, didn't look like that,
and you'd find it under a tunnel or something like that.
Subway tunnel. There
were tunnels, but it was all from, again, the main agent island. Had tunnels underneath. Had 3 different tunnels. That was it. To where, because you could get to each island from the main one, just depending on which door you left from. So that was the thing. We haven't done this yet. Already getting off on track, aren't we? Anyway, Bama Brian, that's what it's from. That's where it comes from. So now you know the rest of the story. Now he's telling me to do the clapboard. City of Heroes. Oh, boy.
Fun times, man.
Get me going into that one.
Especially with our group.
Yeah, no, we have a lot of great memories from our City of Heroes days.
Mm-hmm.
I ran that game. I say I ran it into the ground. I think it ran itself into the ground eventually, but I stuck there with it.
Mm-hmm.
I stuck it out, played it.
Yeah.
And enjoyed it. Got my capes whenever they did that. Got my secret identity stuff when they did that. They didn't do secret identities. They just did costume changes.
Mm-hmm.
You could select costumes, so I used one as a secret identity thing. Really role-played it up a time or two. Got all the way to level cap with it. Did the Praetorian, whatever it was called, the stuff you could do after you hit level cap.
Mm-hmm.
Created a second character, then bought into City of Villains, and ran through that, as well. I mean, it was a game that was right up my alley as far as, superhero MMO, and one of the first to ever do it.
Yeah.
I know there's DC Universe Online, but, my appetite has already been satisfied at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily want to say that they did it right, but they were the first to do it and really had no competition in that genre until DC Universe Online.
Mm-hmm.
WoW was competition just in the MMO space, but it had a different aesthetic to it. It had a different gameplay mechanic. It was different, and this one fed into my to what I loved and what I enjoyed, the superhero side of things.
Genre,
yeah. And stayed that way. There was no competition.
Mm-hmm.
Like if DC had done, or somebody else had done, here's another superhero MMO, we're going to try and combat this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Then maybe I would have been like, ooh, which way am I going? Kind of like, am I going to play Destiny or am I going to play Division? Am I going to play Saints Row or am I going to play GTA?
Mm-hmm.
But there was nothing. Nobody tried.
Mm-hmm.
And once WoW hit, everybody tried to mimic that rather than the superhero genre.
Mm-hmm.
Not until DC Universe Online, and that was long after City of Heroes had closed, and long after I had done what I needed to do and moved on. So I think if DC or Marvel even, and of course this is back before Marvel did anything with their properties as far as being successful with them, both in video games and in film, TV, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I remember spending a whole bunch of time in character creation.
Yeah,
when I started playing that game.
Oh, character creation is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I ended up making 4 characters before I started playing the game seriously. But and then the other aspect was having to type in if you chose to type in your origin story.
Yeah, which I did.
Panel on the slide, and every now and then I start playing with alternate characters, and every now and again I get a message that says nice story or nice little background, something like that. So that was a little that was cool. That was a cool thing to see.
I did the same thing. You could read other people's stories. It was great.
Yeah, yeah. You see how imaginative some folks were with that.
Oh no, it's
It
fantastic.
was really good.
Yeah, it was great the way that they worked everything in when they worked it in, and City of Villains hit. But again, if Marvel or DC had done something a little bit closer to when that was going on, and then because then you would have had there's my licensed guys. There's all the characters that I know and that sort of thing. I wouldn't have had time to put in to City of Heroes to the point of, well, I've already invested here. I'm going to stick here, stick with this. They just weren't there with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how DC Universe Online is doing. It's still running, and that's more than can be said for what happened with City of Heroes. Yeah. And to be fair, City of Heroes is still running. I know that the servers are back on. It's a fan thing. Mm-hmm. The fans have taken control of the property. They're not really adding anything new to it, so to speak, but they have gotten the servers back online, and people can now play the game again. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people doing that. Perfectly fine. I tried to do it. I went in, and again, like you, spent a whole lot of time, especially now, because basically what they've done is they've taken all the expansions, everything. Mm-hmm. They've mixed it all into one thing. Just put it all together.
City of Heroes Ultimate Edition. Just everything.
Everything. You want to play as a villain? Here, go pick your villains. You want to play as the superheroes? Well, we've got it from Going Rogue. We've got it from, I can't remember what the other stuff was, but all the other expansions that they put in. Yeah. Got it all here. You want all the different costume options that were never around when you first started the game, but came with the expansions later, which you had already moved on from. Here you go. You want a tail? Here's a tail. You want wings? Here's wings. You want the auras that they have and the smoke effects or anything else off? Here. It's all here. You can spend they could release that as a standalone, not even as a game. Just like here is an application to build your characters in City of Heroes, just as a standalone where you build up characters and then you could import them if you wanted to. And I think there is something that did that.
Last time I saw something like that was Saints Row the Third.
Yeah,
the demo had the creation station.
Yeah.
Make your own character, do whatever you want, then import it later on.
Even that was not as robust as what City of Heroes gave us.
Yeah,
it was amazing. It was wonderful. What do we have here? This is a beta tested COH way back and had a blast. A lot of good memories. Then they build Star Wars Online as the first WoW killer. Remember that dumpster fire? I never played Star Wars Online. Again, I am not a fan of Star Wars, but I am not a fan of Star Wars enough that I was like, ooh, Star Wars Online, I want to go play that. Which, oddly enough, when Matrix did an online thing, I totally went and did that. Beta tested that and played it, actually, when it was released. It was not good.
Not a good experience.
Not a good experience.
Yeah.
Okay. But, yeah, the Star Wars Online I never played. Yeah.
Who's your main in City of Heroes? What type of character?
He's a blaster.
Blaster architect, yeah.
He was a blaster that started. I mean, I was going for, honestly, look, if you really go back to when I first did it, first character I ever created was a Superman clone. That was going to be that was it. I was like, I'm going to give him power of flight. I'm going to give him, he's going to, there's no capes. Well, crap. So I gave him a blue, I did everything. I cloned it as best I could with what they had. And that's what I did. And I thought, what would Superman be? Would he, because he has all these different things. And I thought, well, I'll go with a blaster. That seems to be the best thing. So that's what I did. And that's what I went with. And the first time I remember with James, I was with James playing, and I remember we were standing somewhere, and I told James, "Look, I leveled up. I got my first travel ability. It's hover. Watch. I'm going to fly." And you click it, and you move so slowly. Yeah. And I was just like, just really slow coming out there. I was like, "Look, I'm flying." This is great. I'm flying. It's wonderful. And then, of course, it wasn't, but I was just like, oh, man, this is horrible. And then, of course, once you get hover, then you have the ability to get flight. Yeah. And flight's good, but it's a slow thing. The real prize of the travel abilities was super jump. Yeah. That was this is it. This combines super speed because it gets you places very fast. Yeah. It combines flight because you go very high in the air.
No fall damage.
Yeah, there is no fall damage. There's teleport doesn't eat up a bunch of your resources, your stamina, that sort of thing.
Because that's what I had, teleportation.
You had teleportation. That thing was a hog.
Yeah, it was.
I
was a support guy anyway.
Of whatever it's called.
I was a healer and a support basically in that game.
Yeah. Super speed wasn't too bad. I kind of like super speed, but I like the way super speed worked in DC Universe Online. Super speed in City of Heroes was, go fast.
Yeah.
But if you hit a wall, you hit a wall. You move. You need to turn. You need to do whatever. DC Universe Online takes that a little step further and says, if you hit a wall, you're just going to run up the wall. That's it. You're going to go, your super speed. You're going to go over everything. Your momentum, your whatever, is just going to carry you through. Yeah. You're just going to keep going. So I kind of like what they did with that, the little bit that I played of it. But yeah, did the super speed. But so I created the Superman character first, and then we started getting serious. So I did a re-roll with it, and I made Mobius, I think was his name. Gave him a Mobius strip symbol on his chest. He was a blaster. He had this long black hair. He had something always covering his mouth. Because the storyline was that he was kind of zombified, but he couldn't breathe. He had to breathe through like a filter or something like that. I had this whole storyline thing. This whole thing. Yeah. And then the City of Villains character that I made was his brother. Because his evil brother. Yeah. Because that's what you're going to do when you're writing comics, right?
Yeah. I remember the one I made was Dr. Garland. I remember that when he was a healer. He had healing and dark force.
Yeah.
Two of the most opposite things you think of.
Yeah.
I could heal you or I could hurt you. One of the two.
Is that the one where you could... you
access the dark nether realm abilities. dark tendrils from
came out of the ground to hold them in
somebody
place. Yeah.
A long poisonous shot from distance. You could use to aggro folks and bring them to the crowd.
Right.
But I also had, like I said, my other set was healing, so I would be.
Were you a bubble defender? No,
no,
you weren't.
Just like a medic with the dark abilities as well. The other one I remember was a blaster I made. It had freezing powers, and with the limited costume parts I had, I was thinking, wait a minute, okay, it was like, how can I do this? And I was thinking, okay, let's give her the cybernetic arms. I know it looks like robotic, but in the storyline I wrote, it's these gauntlets. I just said there were gauntlets to suppress to keep her freezing powers from going out of control. So let's put something like that on there. It worked. It worked.
Fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name of the brother was, but Bama Brian in the chat room, you could be close on that. I could have made that. He was well. You know what? It wasn't City of Villains that I made the brother. It was my second. It was my Praetorian guy that I made.
Yeah.
And that was the brother where he could be human and then turn into this alien form. Because that was something that they gave you once you hit
shape-shifting?
Hit the level cap. Yeah.
Shape-shifting, okay.
You hit a level cap, and it's like, oh, you have access to the Praetorians or whatever they're called. And they came inherent with travel abilities. In other words, you didn't have to earn them. You already got them.
Born with them.
Yeah, you have them.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think I may have picked something like that for the name. I can't remember. I know I was trying to find like his opposite, you know?
Yeah.
But in a way that's not bad, because I wasn't playing him evil. He was still a hero because I was still playing City of Heroes. No, for my whole City of Villains thing was based off of DuckTales, which is stupid. But
no, not if it's a good story and it matches.
There was no story. I didn't have any story.
Oh, okay, never mind.
I was just having fun with it and enjoyed it. I figured I thought I'd wasted all my creative juices on City of Heroes. So when I did City of Villains, I picked a robot mastermind. So my guy already is a robot. No, he's not. He had a skull for a head. Kind of a big, thick M. Bison.
Okay.
Is what I went with, you know? So he looks kind of general-like, but he's got a skull for a head. And he was a robot mastermind, so he could call his robots to him. And for your robots, you got 3 small ones, 2 medium-sized ones, and 1 big one. And so my 3 smalls were Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And I can't remember. The 2, I think, were like Launchpad and Gyro, maybe, or
I mean Gizmo Duck.
Well, Gizmo Duck was the big one. Okay, because he came in and had all the different things, and so Gizmo Duck was my big guy. But that's what I based them on. It was stupid, but I didn't care. It was great. And let me tell you, City of Villains just reinforced what was also reminded to me whenever I finally played as a Sith in Star Wars Old Republic, I think, the online, the MMO there.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's what Bama Brian was talking about. I think Bama Brian was talking about Star Wars Galaxies, which I think that was the MMO for them that they were trying to do for the WoW killer. But maybe he was talking about Old Republic. I'm not sure. You may want to clear that up with us, Brian. I don't remember. I think you were talking about those Star Wars Galaxies. He says yes, so I'm thinking that's what he's talking about.
From 2003?
Huh?
From 2003?
Galaxies?
Daybreak? Is it Star Wars Galaxies?
Yeah, that would have been around the same time.
Massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
No.
Windows,
Yeah, it was Star Wars Galaxies. Yeah, but I played Old Republic, and James played it, and a lot of other folks played it as well. And, of course, I started out with... as the Republic, I was commando and did, I'm going good guys. Let's do this. You could do Sith if you wanted to, but I went. We were all doing the other, so I thought let's do this. We can do these missions together and that sort of thing, which I did. But once I jumped over to the Sith side, it's so much more fun. So playing evil is a lot of fun.
Infamous gave you that option too, didn't it? And I think a lot of folks I talked to said
did.
They had fun with
it did
more fun with the dark side than the
well,
light
because
side.
you don't have to worry about that. Now, Infamous had an issue like that. Infamous You choose to be good, but you still have to be careful that you don't end up hurting civilians.
Mm-hmm.
And all of the blasting and explosions and everything else that you can do, you've got to make sure you don't hurt civilians, otherwise it's going to tick you back to the dark side type of thing. Whereas when you're evil, you don't. It's fine. You don't have to micromanage any of that.
Yeah.
Blast away. Who cares what happens? You're evil. It doesn't matter. And so I never did get around to doing the evil side on Infamous. I went good first time, and then I was going to do evil. But yeah, Star Wars Old Republic Online, perfect for playing evil as a Sith. It was great. Your choices, you were still sent on missions, and they really weren't missions of evil. They were like collection missions and that sort of thing, and you were basically battling animals more than you were anybody else. But cutscenes and things like this, interactive scenes with other characters where you're talking to them, you had choices to make. You know, just follow along with Mr. Evil Overlord, whoever it was, or go behind their back and do your own thing and be evil. You know, so that was fun. That was fun. And it was interesting, and it was different because when you're given these options when you were playing the other side, and I was playing a Republic Commando, so I'm military. I'm very rules is rules, orders is orders, by the book. So I didn't really veer off from the options that they would give me to reply to a statement. Be a subordinate or be insubordinate, or just say yes sir, yes ma'am, just accept the orders, go with it, hardly apply opinion that is veered out of the realm of what they're kind of going in the direction of. So I stuck it straight, played it straight the entire time I was doing that for the Commando side, for the Republic side. Empire side, oh, so much fun. So much fun. It was so much fun doing that. Oh, hey, we got a phone call. I meant to tell you, it is just me and him, and I'm just talking to RJ. So when it comes time to call, you just, let it ring, and I'll eventually see it. And they hung up. By the way, we're 27 minutes into this show. If you would like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. That's the best place to go if you want to watch the show. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook as well. Email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We're streaming right now on Twitch, which, again, the link right there at our website, ingamechat.net, is going to take you right to us so that you can watch the show and, see our wonderful faces. But in the chat room so far, who do we have? We've already talked to Bama Brian in there. Lethal Migraines hanging out, Drunk Degenerates, Aggressive Sock, AC Wraith, Shiloh May, Stephen Van Dam, STM Fuller Tactics 59, hanging out in the chat room. And thank you guys so much for joining us this weekend for the show. Coming up, we're going to talk about what we played. I think I can talk about it. Reviews are embargoed, but I'm not reviewing it.
Just give it how you felt about it.
I'm just going to tell you how I felt about it. I'm not reviewing it. No, this is not a technical review.
Hey, as long as you don't call it a review, you should be good.
Well, at the same time, if I got positive things to say, they shouldn't have any problem with me, talking about this game. They shouldn't.
Just be honest.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I don't think they're going to really know I even said anything. I don't think they're going to come back and listen to it anyway. So, yeah, we'll talk about a game that I played. It's one. And whatever RJ's played as well, we'll go over that. Music this week, there is no theme. There's no running theme between these. There is, however, a game that was released this week by Crytek, the makers of Crysis and Far Cry, those titles and stuff. It's called Hunt, Showdown, Final Showdown, something like that. It is a PvP only type of game, or you're a bounty hunter and you're hunting these people, but they're all other players, on servers and things.
Yeah,
it's got a very Western feel to it, but like a dark Western feel to it.
Apocalyptic Western,
kind of, yeah, kind of a Fallout Western, you know.
Okay.
Anyway, it had 2 really good cuts, and so I'm using both. So I don't normally do this. I don't normally grab 2 songs from the same game unless we're featuring the whole game as a feature. The soundtrack to a whole game is the feature. So it's really, really good. Bama Brian says it's a Fireflash. No. Go darker. Go darker. It's Jonah Hex-ish.
Oh, there you go.
If you want to go in that route, like Jonah Hex crossed with Van Helsing, maybe.
I wanted to say Mad Max.
There's no vehicles, and there's no. It doesn't. It has that feel. Anyway, doesn't matter. Look it up. Find the trailer if you want to. The box art, anyway, gives this impression. I don't know if the gameplay does. The music, however, is just this. Oh, and I want to talk about music, too. I want to respond to a message we got last week from a local listener who had an idea, and I kind of actually, I meant to respond to him on my phone. I never did, but I'll do it on the air. Anyway, we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat. This comes from the game called Hunt. This track is called Devil in the Churchyard. We'll be back with more In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. I was hoping AC Wraith would be here because... Oh, he is here. There he is. I caught him when I was doing music the other night. I caught him playing this game, and I thought, well, let's look up the music for it. This is from A Robot Named Fight. Haven't played it. I don't know anything about it. AC Wraith says he's here. He's just in the kitchen. There was a commercial break, so he went to go get a snack. Mm-hmm. He has about 450 hours that he's put into A Robot Named Fight, and he loves it. I don't know anything about the game at all.
2D action adventure. Focused on item collection. Take the role of a lone robot attached with stopping.
It's a procedural Metroidvania.
Okay.
Is what he says, but done right. So, anyway, oh my goodness, we have calls. We have a lot of calls. Let me put that one on hold and go to their first caller. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's going on?
Oh, not much. I picked up another game here recently. I think it was last weekend, called The Bard's Tale 4. That was on came out on PlayStation.
I want to say I backed that on Kickstarter.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it, and it's been pretty fun. But one of the unique things I like about it is a lot of the music and singing that they got to put in the game is from Scotland, Gaelic, Scottish music.
Yeah.
Songs and stuff, which is pretty fascinating to me. But I've been enjoying playing it and having a ball with it so far.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're going to go over what we've been playing here recently, so I'll be talking about that here pretty soon. Anything else?
That's about it, pretty much it. Just been chilling out and taking it easy and having fun playing it.
Well, good, man. We're going to go to our next caller, but thanks for calling in.
All right, y'all have a good afternoon.
Take care, buddy.
All right, bye.
Hey, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
Here's Josh from Germany.
What's up, man?
Hey.
Hey there.
What's going on?
Yeah, just wanted to call in again.
That's fine. You're more than welcome to call in.
I try when I can.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Played any?
In Germany.
Played anything fun recently? What have you been working on? Monster Hunter World, I guess, or what?
Less Monster Hunter recently. It's kind of dying down for me at least. But I recently got myself the digital version of Gloomhaven.
Okay.
Gloomhaven is like a really, really big and elaborate board game.
I'm familiar with the board game part of it, not necessarily the gameplay of it, but I am familiar that it is a board game.
Yeah, well, there is a PC game for it on Steam now, and it's currently in early access, so I thought I'd give that a try.
Okay.
And so far, it's pretty promising. It's like playing the game without all the annoying setup.
Well, yeah, not as big of a mess that you kind of have to make. I say a mess, but you know what I mean. I mean, board games, especially the extensive big ones, there's setup to it. There's a lot of setup that is involved with it.
Yeah, also you track a lot of things in this game. You have like global achievements. You put stickers on the big map. So the game does all that for you, and you can play it. In future updates, they plan to make it co-op and multiplayer as well. Currently, you can only play it solo. But yeah, it looks pretty promising.
And let's see, it's out of early access or still in early access?
It's still in early access. I
Okay.
think they plan to get out of it this year.
Okay.
But you know how it is with early access. Plans can go anywhere.
Oh, yeah, no, games can stay in there forever. What was one of the games that just came out of early access was Besiege, and that had been in there for 5 years, I think.
Yeah, but it's a fun game.
Yeah.
Well, game in air quotes. What I've played so far of Besiege is more like a simulator.
I don't own it. I've never played it. I've seen videos, and it's basically just build something that can wreck stuff.
Yeah.
But physics are involved, so if you go nuts with it, you might be wrecking what you've got. It's kind of like you need to destroy this amount of stuff before your own, vehicle gets destroyed, type of thing. The thing that's doing the destroying. So, yeah, I'm curious about it, but it's been on sale after sale, but I've never actually picked it up. I don't think it might be in my library. I'm not sure. I don't think it is.
It's especially astounding what some people built in this game. They have like giant towering mechs and stuff like that.
Yep, that they get it to move and to cause all this destruction and still stand and not like fall over or, take a beating and survive what it's got to do. So.
Yeah, or they build helicopters and fighter jets and whatnot. So it's pretty crazy what people can build in it.
What else? You playing anything else?
I'm planning on finishing the last Doom game before the new one releases.
I'm sort of in that same boat. I have it installed. I reinstalled it a couple of weekends ago. Still haven't played it. I keep firing up Defense Grid 2 every time I sit there because it takes me 20 minutes to play around in Defense Grid, and so I'm like, ooh, let me knock out level here real quick, and so I'll fire it up and play it instead of do that. And then I got this other game that came in that doesn't come out until March. I think it's already out. It's been out on Xbox, but I think it's getting a PC and a Switch release in March. And anyway, I'll be talking about that coming up a little bit later on that I've been playing as well. So there's that. I tried Graveyard Keeper because I really didn't understand what all that entailed. And then when I finally started up and began playing it, I realized I don't have time for this at the moment. I thought it would be a quick little, hey, let's jump in, play, get familiar with it. But no. It's totally like it's like a goth Stardew Valley.
Yeah, Stardew Valley. That's the game I wanted to mention. It's kind of like that.
Except with graveyards. And so I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is going to take some, going to take a little bit more effort, a little bit more time than what I was going to be putting into it. So, Josh, we appreciate you calling in, and thanks so much for listening, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, that's about it for now.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. As always, thanks for calling, and we'll see you in the chat room here.
Yep, see you around.
Take care now.
Bye-bye. So, we got 15 minutes. You go first. What have you been playing?
Played a little bit of Street Fighter V, trying to get back into the swing of things, seeing how well I can play with folks online and things like that. I'm still the master of inconsistency.
Yeah.
Win one, lose two, win one again, get a streak of maybe 3, lose that, go back and forth, But, it's still learning things over and over and over again. And with the championship edition that came out, a lot of new players came in, and so we're starting to see more of a pool of people to play from, still learn from, and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we got that going on. Still played a little bit of Sekiro. Like I said last week, I started over because I was missing out so much. I got the feeling I was missing out too much where I was. I feel like I was underpowered, under-equipped to go any further. So I just wanted to start over. And since it's been so long since I played, I may as well start over from scratch and get back to where I wanted to be. I also played a bit of Grand Theft Auto 5, doing a little business things in there, getting some money, building up my capital or whatnot. I only got like $3.5 million, but still broke in that game because everything's like all the good stuff's around $4 to $5 million in that game, unless you catch a sale somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of grinding before I get anywhere in that game. Then I played this morning. I played a bit of Pac-Man Championship Edition 2. I was trying to get some go up on the leaderboard because it's been so long since I played, and I updated all my scores, and my rank has just dropped tremendously. So I just started to play some matches, see how far I could get up in that. Then I saw the one that I had got the most familiarity with was Championship 2 in that maze. I think top score, Mr. Hollywood or something like that. He's got like a little over 5 million for that stage. And
Did you watch him?
I watched it. I watched him play it, and I'm like, oh, wow! I never thought to do some of the things that he or she was doing. So I got like 3.8 million on that stage, and which is a far cry away from 5 million. So I got some work to do on that. That's pretty sure I played this week.
All right. Well, I popped into Destiny 2 and donated my Fractaline and there was whatever else. I just did all that stuff. And today, this week marked the week that you don't invest anymore. You just collect.
Okay.
You invested for the first 3 weeks so that your outcome this week and the next week and the week after will be, this large amount. Mm-hmm. And I've just been running through and doing that basically. It's like, here you go. That's all I've got to do. Ugh. There's nothing to do. And then they announced that they're going to be nerfing sniper rifles, which there's a lot to rant on in this. I mean, we got 12 minutes.
I'm trying to think, how many times have I used a sniper rifle? Because I have a scout rifle that goes across the dang map.
Here's the thing. When Shadowkeep launched in September,
okay,
it came with a buff to sniper rifles.
Okay.
Why not? They aren't getting use for the most part.
Okay.
We'll buff sniper rifles. Mm. We'll also, I think they dropped the damage of the Recluse, but I think that was later on. Anyway, sniper rifles they buffed. Damage got a big buff. Sniper rifles are a thing. Nobody really uses sniper rifles too much. Mm-hmm. However, they created in-game content. The raid. There are two bosses that you fight in the raid. One is the final boss. There are no like stages of the guy. He's just the final boss. You do some mechanics, and he exposes his weak spot, and you shoot it, and then you rinse and repeat to expose the weak spot more, shoot it, and whatever.
Okay.
There's another mid-boss who you fight in the first round, and then you fight in the third, and then he comes back in the third round. And the third round is where you kill him. But he has a mechanic to where everybody groups up at a certain point in the thing, and he comes over and he does his stuff. You weaken him to expose his weak spot, and as his weak spot is exposed, he backs up in a straight line. If you get too close, there is a wipe mechanic which will kill everybody. So you stay behind while he's moving towards the center. And then, of course, once he gets to the center, it starts the process over again, and you've got to expose and do whatever. Literally, it is a long-range thing. You use a sniper rifle to fire when he's backing up. The end boss hovers over a lake of Vex milk, which damages players if you're standing in it.
Yeah.
He flies up into the air and exposes a weak spot over this lake of death. Sword is not going to work.
No.
Shotgun is not going to work. Auto rifle is going to do very paltry damage at that distance. Sniper rifle is the go-to. So,
And notice you're skipping scout rifle a lot.
well, because you're
I'm telling you, like I said, my Song of Justice is clear across the map range.
No, it's fine. I understand that,
So-
but damage is not.
Yeah.
Damage, you get more damage output with a sniper rifle, and especially with the meta sniper rifle, which is the Izanagi's Burden.
And these have been nerfed.
Snipers are getting nerfed. The Izanagi's Burden lets you do the honed edge, which basically takes four bullets and makes them in one highly
concentrated in one shot.
highly damaged shot. And so, boom, that's basically what everybody uses towards the end there. Use some form of sniper rifle for the end boss. You can take scout rifles if you want to. Most people's loadout for that whole raid, for the new raid, is sniper rifle, submachine gun being the recluse if you've got it, and then you rarely use your heavy at all. It could be a grenade launcher or whatever. It doesn't matter. If you don't have a good sniper rifle, bring the Whisper if you've got that. But it's whatever. But now they're nerfing sniper rifles. The common feel within the community is that Bungie sees weapons being overused and they nerf them. Bungie sees weapons not being used and they buff them. Well, there's a problem. If you buff a weapon, if you give more damage to a weapon, people will then start using it. And if they start using it too much, or you design an encounter based around that specific type of weapon, seriously, a sniper rifle is what you need to bring for the boss fight. A lot of people running scout rifle, 8 people running scouts trying to do damage on the end boss. It ain't going to happen during the damage phase. It's just not going to work. But then as the community uses those, this is getting used too much, let's nerf it. Seems, I don't know. I don't like the idea. But whatever. They do what they want to do, but I don't know. I don't know.
Look, I know the feeling. It's like when Street Fighter V first came out and Infiltration was winning all these tournaments with Nash. And then an update came out and suddenly Nash got nerfed.
Yeah.
Almost nerfed out of existence. Then Mena RD won some tournaments with Birdie.
And so people started using Birdie.
People Birdie about that, and then he got nerfed a little bit. And so I get the idea. I've seen this happen before, but in this case, the way you describe it, the sniper being an essential tool for this raid, but
it really is. And they're specifically putting in
not so much more now.
Yeah, they're specifically putting in a nerf for the Izanagi's Burden, which is the one that everybody wants to use.
The one with 4 bullets in one.
The 4 bullets in one. Yeah. Kind of looks like a sword, but it's shaped in a sniper rifle thing.
Yeah. So it's like
they took out one of the perks and replaced it with something else.
So it's like a Celestial Nighthawk's effect on the golden gun. those one instead of 3 shots, you got
Yeah.
one big powerful shot.
You do.
So
You get.
don't
I mean,
miss.
you get a magazine 16. So essentially, if you can take 4 bullets, turn them into one, you've got 4 shots that you can take out of it.
Yeah.
So there's that. I mean, I don't necessarily know. Obviously, until it's in place, we won't know exactly how it's gonna. But you can kiss speed runs goodbye. You can kiss one phasing certain enemies, certain boss battles. Goodbye.
Any perks or benefits or items you get from this thing, from this raid or
The
whatever?
raid?
Yeah.
Oh, you get top level
very good
gear.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, each encounter there's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's 4 encounters in the raid. After completing each of those, you get a piece of high level gear.
Okay, maybe I should have asked this a better way. Is there anything special you get in terms of finishing this thing quickly, like under a time limit or something?
No, not really.
No? Okay, so it's not much of a loss. Really, it's just going to be a little more difficult.
It's not
now.
really a loss. It's just going to take more time.
Okay, yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's going to take a little more time because doesn't hurt as much.
That we can tell. Now, again, this hasn't been implemented. We'll see what happens. The community is very good at finding out new metas. You know what I'm saying? The community is very good at saying, hey, guess what? They nerfed this, but if you'd use this with this exotic or use this with blah, 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 and it's got this kind of perks, you can just do amazing things.
Okay.
So we'll see how it shapes out when the new season starts sometime in March. But, I mean, I'm obviously...
Yeah, March is right around the corner, too.
It is.
Yeah.
It's sometime in March. I don't know, it's mid to late March, I think, is when it kicks
mid to
off.
late? Okay.
I'll be there when it launches. I'll be there to play it and to see what's new with it. But I tell you, these past few weeks, looking at Destiny, I have no desire to play it. I have none. And I don't know that maybe it'll be there when they add this new season, but I mean, seasons are starting to feel, and we've only done 2, so it's hard for me to say what, but seasons are starting to feel less rewarding.
Yeah, it's getting repetitive.
Yeah.
It's like it's like I think we talked about it before. When you literally run out of stuff to do in this game. I mean, what else is there? I mean,
Yeah.
The only thing you're going to get in another season, what new different outfits, a different shell for a ghost,
Yeah, and
a
you
different
get-
shell for a sparrow.
And you get your level cap increased or
Level
something
cap
like
increase,
that.
yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. I say this, but
What's the cap at now? 950?
No. The soft level cap is 960. The powerful level cap that you can only get doing certain things is 970.
Oh well, kick it up to 1,000. Who's going to be first to get to 1,000? There you go.
Well, remember your artifact now will increase your level, but it gets reset every season.
Oh, forget that. Yeah.
So I mean, right now I'm sitting at 980.
No, like I said, cap it to 1,000. Make it 1,000.
Oh, no.
Make it a race.
We-
Who's going to get there first?
Well,
Get it
somebody
first.
already
Get it first.
has.
Okay, who is?
Oh, I don't know who the guy is.
So
He did
someone's
it.
at
He did it the
1,000?
very first season.
Okay, 1,000.
He got his artifact up
Yeah.
to where it increased his level to 999. It would not go past that. It went to 999. That was it. It would not go beyond that.
Well, Bungie make it go past 999 now.
They will. They'll up. No, I mean next season comes out, then the soft cap will be 970. The powerful cap will be 980.
No, I mean at this point get ridiculous. Kick it to
Well,
1,500.
No, they won't do that. They'll eventually get there, but they ain't going to do that just yet. Anyway, second game I played, I have like 3 minutes, which is probably enough that I can tell you. It's a game called Stella. 1L. Stela. I know you typed in too. When you did that.
I put the name. Stella.
So, Stella is this atmospheric. What's the best way I can describe it? I'll tell you. Okay, this is what I was going to say about it anyway. Did you ever play Inside? Probably not.
I played Limbo.
Limbo is the same developer.
Okay, Limbo
as
yeah.
Inside.
Inside was like a more touched up version of that. Still the same.
Sort of, yes.
okay,
Yeah. Side scroller sort of thing. Man, if you sat me...
That dang spider. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Ugh.
If you sat me down in front of Stella and said, here, go play this new game, and I started to, I'd be like, oh, it's from the makers of Limbo and Inside, right? Mm-hmm. No, this is from somebody else.
Skybox Labs?
Skybox Labs. They made... What did they make? They made something. I can't remember what it is. I want to say it was in the Halo universe.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Creepy.
Yeah.
I'm on the website looking at it now. It's you got side scrolling, things like that. You got a foreground, looks like mid-ground, foreground, background.
Sort of, yeah.
It's going on. So you got stuff going on in the background and the foreground. So you got a lot of things.
But it is very. I mean, it feels almost plagiaristic.
Yeah.
Just the way that this thing works, and I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
I've only played through like the introductory level. I haven't gone any further really than that. I got to the part where the weird things show up.
Yeah. I'll put a link to the chat.
These long, lanky-looking alien-like things.
Yeah.
I got to where they showed up.
Yeah. If I could describe it, it's like a 10-foot tall sticks and bones. I mean,
Yeah. It's like a bunch of Slender Man.
Yeah.
Slender Men.
Oh yeah, an army of Slender Men.
Yeah, exactly.
Right
anyway, I got to that section, and I stopped there because I was just playing it to see what it was like, and I stopped at that point. I was going to play some today. We had some issues here at the station that kept me from doing that, but so I mean, it just feels like a complete clone of those games. I mean, I guess I'm okay with that. It's not that big of a deal that it's doing that.
Yeah, he said Lethal Micro said something about too many copycats, basically. A whole bunch of similar things. Too many of this, too many of that, because one succeeds and everybody makes a copy of it. So it's the same as the formula here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I know.
Limbo worked. Inside worked.
I get that. I'd never looked at Limbo and Inside, not necessarily on their success, and thought, let's copy this. You know.
Mm-hmm. Or I don't know if it's a copy, but let's put our own spin on that type of.
Yeah. As far as I know, the game's already out on Xbox. So why we have an embargo on a review, I have no idea. Since the game already exists in the wild on Xbox.
Yeah.
Stella will come to Nintendo eShop for Switch and Steam March 13th, 2020. It's currently sitting on. Oh, it's currently on Apple Arcade, so I guess a mobile game you could play it as? I don't know. Stella is a cinematic, atmospheric platform about a young woman witnessing the final days of a mysterious ancient world. Daunting challenges, treacherous terrain, and gargantuan beasts. Traversing a decaying land. Manipulate the environment to solve elaborate puzzles. That's my calling. That's what...
Sounds like Control.
That's what puts me into it. And creep past dangerous creatures under cover of muted landscapes, all set to an original soundtrack, survive sweeping environments, including mysterious towns, haunting forests, and massive subterranean ruins brought to life in an atmospheric experience.
So the environment control, like in Control, the Remedy game, Control.
Which I haven't played yet, but I have it, yeah.
Yeah, that's the element of it, right? Controlling the elements going around or something?
No, I haven't gotten anything like that yet.
I thought it was. Okay, anyway.
No, I mean in Stella, I haven't gotten anything where I control the elements.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, the environment.
Yeah, and still, I mean, I've moved a platform so that I get up to a higher thing, you know, but I haven't manipulated I don't know. Okay. It's basically just run left.
Yeah, but
or run right. I'm sorry. It's basically go right, keep going, don't stop. I haven't gotten into any kind of elaborate puzzles just yet. So, Anyway, that's what I've been playing, and we've got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to get to the news that I did not get to last week. I want to talk about Sony and the PS5 and the pricing and that sort of thing. That is all going to come up. There were some other things that dropped this week as well. Obviously, we had that Animal Crossing Nintendo Direct. Animal Crossing coming to the Nintendo Switch next month. Whole lot of hype on that. What else do we have? Flight Simulator, which is a really nice thing there. We've got Witcher 3 on Switch and PC, where you can swap your PC saves between things. Oh, some GameStop employees have reported a few things that I kind of wanted to talk about. So, yeah, we're going to get into all of that coming up on In-Game Chat. Right now, we're going to leave you with music from Skull the Hero Slayer. It's the main theme. By the way, Skull is also spelled with one L. So we have a shortage of L's.
No, we don't.
and people can only write them with using the one, where you'd see two. We'll be back with In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. This is a very short track. It's only about 45 seconds long. It is called February Revolution. February Revolution.
There's some words that just catch us all the time.
Yeah.
I got some too, man.
It's from a game called Aviary Attorney. Right?
Aviary Attorney.
It's on PC. It looks like it's more of a like handmade drawing. It's hand drawn. It's not animated that I know of, but hand drawn pictures with texts.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm looking at imagery now.
Yeah.
Of like, so picture if you will, folks, like those, like maybe some artwork from like in the 1800s.
It's like you're looking at an old sketchbook.
Old sketchbook, yeah. Or like a picture a old Western Wanted poster.
Yeah.
That type of artwork on there. And are these bird people?
Yeah, kind of.
Anthro style thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, visual novel-esque is exactly right, Josh. That is exactly what we're talking about. So a couple of weeks ago, I did a theme for the music was all like classical music used in video games. Mm-hmm. Aviary Attorney is nothing but classical music in the video. February Revolution that we just heard is from whatever.
LISTZ?
Yes, I think. Or was it Holtz? I think it was Lists. Whatever. It was that. Which brings me to a message I got from Wesley. Wesley's the guy who wanted to loan me the Star Wars Jedi Order.
Okay.
For Xbox. He called in.
Okay.
He sent me a message, and this was last Sunday, I think, and I meant to respond to it, and I never did, and I was like, let's just do it on the air. He writes, I had a thought for your show I'd be happy to volunteer for at some point if you think it would work. And I'm kind of curious about this. Mm-hmm. Wesley is a musician.
Okay.
I think he specializes in the violin. I think. Don't hold me on that, but we'll see.
Or just strings.
Yeah, maybe.
Strings in general.
He says, I'd be happy to do some live music for the show if you had a good thought for a theme in mind. I've noticed your bumper music is a bit longer compared to the other shows on 93.1, but I could certainly just play until you cut to commercial and could have a number of arrangements. Anyway, just a thought. I love the idea. Mm-hmm. I especially love the idea. Uh-oh. There we go. Sorry. Forgot to turn on the thing after commercial. I thought I had. I thought I leaned over and did it, but I guess I didn't. I swear I thought I did earlier. Anyway, he. I think it's great. I think if he can come in and kind of play even the most basic of video game tracks, a Zelda, a Mario, a Metroid, just nothing that is, doesn't need to be booming. I think it's a fantastic idea. I would love that. So Wesley, if you are listening, regardless if you're listening or not, I'm open to the idea. Shoot me a message. I'm going to shoot you a message back here shortly to let you know that I think that'd be fantastic. I think it would be amazing. So I love the idea. Yeah, as far as I know, he's a musician. I've seen him. He's posted a couple of videos on his Facebook page of him playing guitar, as well as I've seen him play. He's got some other instruments that he plays as well. So, yeah, sorry about that. I totally forgot to turn the thing on. So, anyway, welcome back to the show. All right, let's get into the news here that I wanted to get to that I didn't have a lot of time to talk about last week because I went on a rant about Jeff Keighley. Which I really haven't changed my mind, by the way, on that whole situation with him.
It's not that big a deal.
Not that I would, but yeah. So, the story being is that Sony is having a tough time for them to keep the PlayStation 5 price under $500.
Yeah.
And by the way, anytime I say any sort of a number, think $1 less. Like, I'm telling you, they're having a hard time keeping it under 500. Oh, but we fixed it. It's only $4.99. No, that doesn't count.
You're $500.
That doesn't count. So when I say 600, they'll offer it for $5.99. If I say 400, they'll offer it for $3.99. You know, that's the way it's.
Where did that come from, by the way?
I do not know. It keeps.
I mean, it's not exclusive to Sony, folks. I mean, it's just like if it's $3, say $3, but for some reason they want to go $2.99, making you think it's less than $3. Technically, it is, but still, it's $3. So close to $3, it may as well be $3.
I think it's. I don't know exactly what it has to do. What it has to deal with, but I think it's something that keeps them. I guess out of a different sort of bracket of some sort of categorization. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I know. AC Wraith says it's a psychological trick to make it look less expensive. No, it's not. It's not. Okay, look. 99 cents compared to $1, that's like, hey, it's only a penny less, but whatever. It's only 99 cents. I don't mind giving you $1 for this thing. The difference between honestly, the difference between 99 cents and $1 is one single penny, and there's no difference.
Right.
The difference between 49 and it being $500, again, there is no single difference. However, it works in your advantage, I suppose, if you have coupons and things. It's like, oh, I'm already getting, whatever I can. It's already not $500. I can take $4.99 from this, bring it down some. I don't know, but again, it's one single cent. It's no big deal. And it ain't fooling anybody. It's really not.
Yeah, I mean,
the difference being is that is your game console at $4.99 sitting next to another game console that is $3.99 or $4.49. That's the difference. Are you competitive in your pricing? And this is the situation that Sony has. Now I have a couple of theories. I got some tinfoil hat things going on here. What we know about E3 is that Microsoft will be there. Microsoft is going to unveil their next console, which they've already unveiled, but they're going to give pretty much all the details you need about it at E3. Release date is expected. Pricing is expected. Will we get those? I don't know, but the last time they did this, we did. We got a release date, we got prices. Then, last time we did this, Sony came up after Microsoft, gave their release date, gave their price, which was cheaper than Microsoft. Was that something they planned? Was it already... Did they already know they were going to sell it for that amount? Or did they make a change in between the time Microsoft announced theirs and the time they announced theirs? Did they change things up? I have no idea. I'm very curious if they did, but I have no idea. If Sony's telling the truth about this, and I have some idea that maybe they're not, but if Sony is telling the truth about this, the only way that they can sell their console at $500 is if Microsoft sells their console at $500. Anything less, Microsoft gets the advantage. And it just comes to that. Because I'll tell you now, going into the last, or this current generation, I guess you could say, but when we did this the last time, number one question I got asked, and you know what? Terry, who's on after us, he asked me the other day downstairs. He was here and he asked me, "What's the best system out there right now?" I said PC, and he said, "But of the consoles, what's the best system out there?" And I said, "Well, on paper, the Xbox One X is the best console out there. The stats, everything that it does, the stats, it's all there. It's best. But if you're talking about video game exclusives, the titles that are only available on that platform, then Sony's got it better." I did not have time to go into the whole Xbox Game Pass that gets you, for this much money, you get a ton more games to play. Some of them being cross-platform. You can play them on Sony, you can play them on Microsoft, but still, you get a bunch to play. I didn't go into any of that with him, but That's the thing. Anytime a new console generation rolls around, anytime Sony releases a new machine and Microsoft does, which apparently now they have to do in the same year with each other, the question that you get asked the most is which one is better? That's the wrong question always to ask. Never ask which one of these is better. It's which one of these has this type of game on it that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Which one of these has... I want to do such and such. Can this machine do it? Can the other one do it? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's not which one's better. It's which one has the stuff you want to play on it.
I think I said many times on this show how it doesn't matter how powerful or what features your console has, what your library look like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole point. But if your console is higher priced than your competitor's console when you guys release in November, usually is when this is going to come around, holiday, you're going to lose. You will lose. There's no real getting around that. Now, that being said, this year is different. Microsoft's going to be at E3. Sony is not. I don't know when Sony is going to talk about their system. I have no idea. If they were to be at E3, I would have said easily that's what it's going to come about. But so far as we know, Sony is not going to be at E3. They've already said that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're going to do some sort of Sony Direct, for lack of a better term. PlayStation Direct, something where they reveal this stuff around the same time. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's going to happen. What I also don't know is, like, when is that going to... Is it going to be before Microsoft, or is it going to come afterwards? Mm-hmm. I think so.
I mean, that's the thing. And who's going to show their hand first?
Well, see, Sony not being at E3 gives them the ability to wait it out and do it whenever they want to.
Yeah.
Not that being at E3 would have meant that they would have, but if they were going to be there, everybody would be expecting it. Mm-hmm. Again, Microsoft, more than likely, Microsoft would be going first, should they be at E3. Microsoft would be going first, Sony would be going second.
I was about to say, just because you expect it don't mean they have to.
They don't have to, but that's where everybody would be. To not do it,
yeah,
and have Microsoft do it, is not really going to hurt them necessarily. But it would make the expectation being, they're not ready. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that it would hurt stocks or anything like that. There's probably a whole situation where stocks would dip because Sony didn't announce anything, Microsoft did, blah, blah, blah. I really have no idea. There are people who are far more educated in that line of thinking that would know a better idea about that. Mm-hmm. But usually when your competitor does something and you have no reaction to it, even though it's expected that you should, like they will have a console release this year. Mm-hmm. And if Microsoft does theirs and then they don't do theirs, but we're expected to at E3, it would look bad. They've erased that out. They've taken that off the table though, because they're not going to be at E3. They don't have to follow Microsoft with, like, here's what we're going to do. So my other theory, my whole like, maybe this is a ploy. Put these stories out there. Tell the press that, hey, this is costing us this much. It looks like it's going to be hard for us to keep it under such and such price, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. Microsoft looks at that and says, okay, Sony's having an issue with this. Now, Microsoft is probably dealing in some of the same components that Sony is dealing with. Mm-hmm. So Microsoft likely knows, here's what the cost is. We know what it costs them to do this. What Microsoft doesn't know is can Sony afford the loss, depending on what they price their consoles as, But if it's something that they put out there or leaked out there and said that Sony's having a problem, maybe that puts it in Microsoft's head to say, they can't keep it under 500, so if we release it 450, we're good. Meanwhile, Sony is like, we can totally do this. We're just going to tell them we can't. And then when they release theirs at 450, we're ready to go with a 400, whatever the case may be. But the only way, or maybe Microsoft announces their price, and that way it gives Sony the chance to say, make ours the same price. This way we don't lose as much, and we're on par with them. And so Microsoft comes out and says our console's $500. Sony says, "Oh, this is great. Our console's going to be $500 as well." That's the only way you can compete. Be the same price as your competitor or be lower. And yeah, I really don't know how it's going to play out. I don't know what the prices are for these things yet. You know, if we had some idea of what Microsoft is going to be as far as a price, then we might have an idea of what Sony's might price theirs as. But we don't know any of this stuff. We likely won't know any of this stuff until E3. For Microsoft at least. For Sony, I have no idea. Sony could come out of the blue in May and say, "Hey, we're doing one of our Sony Directs. Here's everything you need to know."
When is E3?
June something.
June? Okay. What's the latest you think anyone could wait before revealing the price?
The latest?
What's the absolute
Well,
latest?
what's the release date? What's the release date?
Okay. So it depends on that. Yeah.
Like if so if the release date's in November, what's the latest you can release the price? Mid-September maybe. October. You got to get pre-orders in, I guess. I don't really know exactly. I've never been up on that. I'm not sure. Actually, you might want to back that up because you got to have stock, but they got to make sure that they've made enough of these things. Don't pull a Nintendo.
I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that they're just looking. It's a standoff. Just who's going to budge first.
Didn't Nintendo take a long time to reveal aspects of the Switch, pricing and everything?
I don't know. I didn't really look into the Switch Lite, but I wasn't planning to get one, so I never looked at that.
I can't remember. I feel like there was a console or there was something that we kept waiting and waiting and waiting for information on, and we weren't getting it. And it was like, man, they're taking a long time to reveal this thing. Like, we knew it was happening. They had apparently already revealed whatever it was, but it was taking forever for them to give us the rest of the information on it. And I can't remember what it was. I feel like it was Nintendo, but it may not have been. Some of the comments here. I'm not a console fan, says Bama Brian, but I was going to get a PS3 just for the Blu-ray player. At that time, it was just $199 or so. Yeah, man. Standard Blu-rays now on all the machines. Now it's all 4K stuff, which now is standard as well. And it did the exact same thing. Blu-ray players standalone at the time of the PS3 were a massive amount.
Was it $800?
It was huge. And then when the PS3 released, it was like $800 or $600. They had the two SKUs when they first released.
Okay.
And even then, $800 to $600 was like, that's the cheapest you can get a Blu-ray player.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of a Sony? Or am I thinking of PS2? No, I'm thinking of PS3.
PS3.
Yeah, PS3. And then, of course, Blu-ray players just dropped like a rock as far as price.
Yeah.
4K is the same way, man. 4K, the consoles were the cheapest option to get a 4K player. And now those have dropped. 4K is whatever. Shell out, $80, you get a 4K player. So, I don't know. Let's see what other console. I'm fine paying $500 if Microsoft Series X is $600. I will still buy it day one. Says Lethal Migraine Arioka. The only exclusive left on Xbox One are the Rare Replay and Gears of War Ultimate Edition. I'm not getting either console at launch. They'll probably have issues for so much power. I've seen this movie before. Lethal Migraine says, who cares about exclusives? 99.9% of all games aren't exclusives. Lethal Migraine says, price doesn't matter. It does. Maybe if it doesn't for you, but it does.
For a significant amount of buyers, it will matter. So I'll make them wait at least.
You only have to look back at the previous generation. Or I say previous, this generation. Well, no. You can look at as far as I know, you can go back to the 360 launch and the PS3. Although I think the 360 launched 1 year before the PS3. I think they were a year apart. May have been a little less. I don't know. Might have been weeks. I can't remember. But the 360 launched at whatever price it did, was less than Sony. The 360 sold a whole lot of consoles.
360 was launched on November 22nd of 2005.
Right.
And let's see, PS3. November 11th of 2006.
Yeah, 1 year later.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the PS3 launched with either $600 or $800. You could get either one.
Mm.
The 360 launched, I think, around $400 maybe. I can't remember, but it was the cheaper one. It sold the most.
Yeah.
Obviously, those prices came down over the years. But, you know, that holiday season, the holiday season when the PS3 finally released, 360 was the one to have.
Yeah. 500 and 600.
Mm-hmm.
Introductory price. 500 for the 20 gig model, 600 for the 60 gig model.
I thought it was $800. You talking about the PS3?
PS3.
I could have sworn it was like up there.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn it was higher than that at launch. I swear I thought it was 6 and 8 because it was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Was that? Let me see.
It was something else then.
No. Typing in my thing. Each PS. See, this is this is from old. This is from 2006, February 2006. These are forums. Like, it looks like it's going to be $800 for the PS3. Yeah. Interesting.
Anyway, yeah. That was a good sized price tag back then, yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And it didn't work. And then Microsoft, the next generation, came out with a $500 console, and Sony came out with a $400 console.
Mm-hmm.
More people bought PS4s than they did Xbox Ones. You can say it was a matter of the exclusivity of games or whatever. I don't think any of that mattered. I don't think a parent cares. I think a parent who's getting this stuff for their kids, which I think is a big majority of them around the holidays that get bought.
It is.
At launch, your diehards are there. They're doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
By Christmas, it's the parents. It ain't your diehards anymore. They already did their thing. They already supported you. They already bought both. They already did what they were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
By Christmas, it's the parents doing it. And you want to be the hot thing out there, and you want your sales sitting next to a console that is $100 more than you means you're sitting pretty. It's so far, that's how it's worked out. Obviously, these prices come down. They always do. Sony dropped prices of the PS4. Microsoft dropped prices of the Xbox One.
Yep.
Everybody came out with SKUs. There were Black Friday bundles. It all kind of evens out over the years. But initially, if you are cheaper than your competitor, you will win the year at least. Mm-hmm. You'll win the you're out of the gate first. You've got the bigger install base. You know, obviously it doesn't help you once these consoles start coming down in price and start matching up with everybody. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes like, oh yeah, I went ahead and picked up a used system.
Yeah.
Or I got a second system because I wanted to play some of the games that were there. Mm-hmm. You know? So I don't know. I just think that if Sony can, $500 seems like a death knell. Like $500 seems like that is the ceiling, and even then I wouldn't want to go that high.
I thought it was 600.
Well, no, because Microsoft released the Xbox One at $500, and nobody did it because the PlayStation was $400. Mm-hmm. And now that's because something was cheaper. The only way you do $500 or more is if your competitor is $500 or more. Mm-hmm. If Sony goes at $5 and then Microsoft comes out at $5, I have no idea what's going to happen. If Sony comes out at $5 and Microsoft comes out at $4, Microsoft's got it. Mm-hmm. If Sony comes out at $6 and Microsoft comes out at $5, even still, Microsoft will get it. You're the cheaper one. I still think $500 is a ceiling. Is a something too high, whatever. It's a yard too far or whatever. I don't know what the old saying is, but
well, I just said it because I think at $500 nowadays anyway. I think someone's willing to pay that.
There are plenty of someone's willing to pay it
without an issue, but 600, really?
I don't think
600.
500 is still, dude. 500's up there. 500 is up there. I mean, then again, we got people paying $900 to $1,000 for phones, but phones are phones, man. Phones are your computer these days. Phones are your laptop, your computer, your tablet. It's all in one thing. But and I don't want to compare your phones to your consoles. But $500, that's an expensive console. I have no idea if the phone's been ringing or not. $500 is expensive. That's a high bar.
I know. Yeah, it's high. I get that. But
I
can see folks spending it.
And I get $450 is only a $50 less type of thing, but it's still less.
It's still less, yeah. I get that.
So, yeah, I don't know. What am I reading here? The $100 difference was a huge difference for PS4 winning this generation, says Arioka. I only got my Xbox One when they dropped the Kinect, and the price went down $100. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people did that. And then a lot of people went even further when they did the Xbox One S. Lethal Migraine says, I got my One X for $300 because he got $100 for Christmas and a $100 gift card from Microsoft Reward Points. Yeah, that's good. You got it for $300 for those things. Some people don't have those things, but originally the price was $500. That's a lot to ask for a system. I have one. And it was a lot to get that, I guess. What did I do? Did I do any trade-ins? I can't remember. I think that was for my PS4 Pro. So yeah, just GameStop alone sold 90 Xbox Ones at the midnight release. Okay, well, how many PS4s did they sell at the midnight release? I have no idea. I don't have any statistics to tell me that. I could look it up real quick, but the point being is that you've got to be on par or less than your competitor, and I mean that's almost with anything. Doesn't matter. I think that's almost with anything. But they're the only two in the market. I mean, there's Nintendo as well, but they don't have a console coming out. And honestly, Nintendo, with the Switch out there and being whatever price it is. People walking into a store to get consoles, and you've got your Nintendo, your Xbox, your PS, your PlayStation sitting next to each other, and these two behemoths are sitting there battling it out at $500 a piece, and then there's your Nintendo system at $300. Parents gonna be like, "Nope, you're getting a Nintendo, and that's final." Mama can't afford either of those consoles, so you either get this or you get nothing. And then the kid's like, okay, I'll take that, whatever. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that that's the case, but
if they don't already have a Switch,
that's the thing, man. Switch is looking mighty pretty at $300 when you look at the holidays and you just walk in to get a console as you're shopping for your kids for Christmas or something like that. Whew, man, that's 50% than what these other consoles cost almost. Depending. I have no idea. Again, we don't know. We don't know what the prices are going to be. We don't know. We have to wait and see.
I'm expecting we're going to be waiting a long time for that to happen.
What, the price?
Yeah. Or release date, price, whatever.
Like I'm saying, we'll get something from Microsoft. We'll have. That won't tell us a thing about Sony. We can guess that it'll be at some point around the same time, and we'll figure out where they go with price. Yeah. I have no idea because I don't know what Microsoft's going to do.
Who's going to break first?
Right. So far as we know, we feel like Microsoft will, unless Sony comes out of the blue, like I said, holds an event in May, or does one of their little direct things. I don't know what they're called. State of Play, I think that's what it is. Holds one of those things and says, here's what we're doing, And for them to come out first, I don't know that they want to do that. I don't know.
I don't think either one of them does.
I think Microsoft's ready to do whatever they're going to do. I think Microsoft's ready. I mean, it's Microsoft. I think they're fine with whatever they go with. I think they feel like they've got a good thing going. And I think that's helped a lot by the Game Pass, the Ultimate Game Pass thing that they've done. I feel like they got a good thing going with that or something. I don't know. Oddly enough, reading these articles here is obviously going to put a slant in your head about them when you're reading them. And it feels like Sony's nervous about the PlayStation 5 and keeping it low cost. Whereas Microsoft has said nothing. So you feel like, oh, they're good. Who knows? I have no idea. I really have no clue. We need to take a break. I've gone on and on and on and on about this. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll do a quick run through of the news here that I've got. This next track goes back to the Hunt game that we first heard earlier last hour. This track is called Rise Up, Dead Man. And we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. I swear I hit the button.
That's a recurring theme of today for some reason.
I didn't know I did hit the button, and it just did its thing. Mm-hmm. This game has a... listen to this.
Doom and gloom.
Yeah. Listen to this. Oh, I know I'm still on the mic, AC Wraith. I'm just enjoying this.
This will be someone's ringtone in a few minutes.
That's a good ringtone, actually.
See what I mean?
Anyway, we'll be back. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music, excuse me, from Panzer Corps, excuse me, the main theme. Somebody was playing this the other day. I can't remember. Somebody on my friends list was playing it, so. Welcome back to the show. Real quick rundown of what I had left on the news. Sonic the Hedgehog, box office record as far as a video game movie. It beat Tomb Raider and Detective Pikachu. Mm-hmm. I think it only beat Detective Pikachu by just a few million. Mm-hmm. Of course, it's still getting higher. It's still in theaters, so it will easily become the top grossing video game film. Mm-hmm. Until there's another video game film that does very well. Which I don't know. Are there any in the works?
None that I know of. I can't think of any who... can you think of any to make a good...
I mean, Witcher's doing a series.
Witcher's doing a series, yeah.
And that's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything. I know they're doing... I think there's nothing like on the horizon is coming out, but I know Uncharted is supposed to be getting filmed. Is there anything else? I think there is.
Who would make a good movie?
What?
Who would make a good movie? God of War?
Who
maybe?
would? What game would make a good movie?
Yeah. Thinking God of War
I never
right now.
would have thought Sonic the Hedgehog would. More would I ever think Detective Pikachu would. Because of the concepts behind all of that.
Yeah.
Were just interesting. I played the game before I ever saw anything about the movie, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the movie came out, and I thought, well, I know exactly how they're going to do this because I played the game, and the storyline's kind of the same. So, that's right. Monster Hunter is coming out, or if it isn't already out, I don't know. I saw a handheld camera version of that trailer a long time ago, and I haven't heard anything since. I don't know. Yeah. Wow. But what would make a good movie that's a video game? I tell you, Castlevania I've enjoyed. It's not a movie, but I've enjoyed the Netflix anime for Castlevania. I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I have too.
I like that we're doing series instead of films in some of these. No.
We'll think about that later.
I mean, Last of Us would make a great film, and maybe Uncharted would as well, but, you know. I really loved God of War. Not so much the story as much as I just enjoyed the Norse mythology setting that they put everything in. I enjoyed that a lot. Yeah, I don't know. I leave that up to them to try it and see how it goes. I swear I thought they were doing another Mortal Kombat movie.
I think they are.
I thought they were too.
I think they are doing it, yeah.
I know they did an animated Scorpion film, but I think they're doing another live action, I thought. I don't know. Rainbow Six Siege, when it releases for the Series X or the PS5, it will have cross-play. Oh, wait. No, it's going to have cross-gen play. I'm sorry. In other words, if you're on an Xbox One or a PS4, you'll be able to play with folks who are on an Xbox Series X or a PS5. So I thought cross-play, but no, cross-gen play is what it's going to have. PlayStation forums are closing down. I don't know why that is. You can transfer your PC saves of Witcher 3 to the Switch. Kind of a cool thing. Can you? I guess you can transfer your Switch saves to the PC. That kind of makes Witcher 3 portable, which is kind of nice. What do we have here? Got an update today. Adds graphical options. Hey, come on, throw that away. The ability to port your save between Switch and PC. So yeah, I guess it goes both ways. When I load up Witcher 3 on Switch now, there's a menu option for cloud saves. That gives me the option to upload a file from Steam or GOG. To upload from Steam, I did the blah, blah, blurs. The menu, upload, PC game files. Well, the fact the system, in terms of graphical tweaks, blah, blah, blah. Sharing your saves is only possible between PC and Switch. So Xbox and PS4 players who want to transfer their saves between platforms are out of luck. So, yeah. Seems like you can go either way with it, which is kind of nice. Make it portable. That's good. What do we got on this GameStop story? We've only got 7 minutes, and I haven't read the story. Before I get to that, let's hit some of these other quick ones. Sony is not going to be at PAX East due to coronavirus fears. They also aren't going to be at GDC due to coronavirus concerns. Sony is, this is interesting. I never really thought to think about the coronavirus thing having issues with some of these gaming convention type things. So yeah, that's an interesting situation to have happen. Dangerous Driving 2 apparently is coming later this year with an open world type gameplay. You can play it at PAX East if you go there. And by the way, if anybody does go there and plays that, please let us know. I haven't seen any video from that. I have no idea. It seems like it's way too soon for them to be working on a sequel and also have it ready for playability at a convention. Just let your stuff cook, man. Stop putting this stuff out let it cook. Learned a lot about Animal Crossing on the Switch. There's a lot there from their Direct. You can watch the Direct to find that out. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is free on the Epic Games Store for the week. Go pick it up if you want to. It's one of the better Assassin's Creed games. Right before they switched over to the Origins and the Odyssey type of play. Microsoft Flight Simulator. We got another thing about that. And I know there's a couple of listeners, and I don't know if they're listening right now, but I know there's some people who are interested in this. Microsoft Flight Simulator, whenever it releases, we still don't have any idea on that, will contain every single airport in the world. 37,000. We're talking stretches of dirt in a field that is considered an airport. It'll be in the game.
I'm trying to think of that airport that has that. I think it was listed as the most difficult airport to land in. I want to say it's somewhere in South America. It has a very nasty crosswind or something. You have to make a hard banking turn to hit the runway.
That airport is since closed.
Dang. Okay.
We talked about that in our chat here when I was talking about it.
Okay.
It was the it's not Mix Field. That's in Chicago. It was Kai-Tech.
Mm-hmm. Where's that at?
Oh, goodness. I thought it was Japan, but I could be wrong.
Kai-Tech.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, okay.
Kai-Tech, whatever it was in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
You had to approach at you kind of had to
it was like a hard bank, wasn't it?
Had to hook it in.
Yeah, it was like a hard banking turn you had to do to get the line up right.
Yeah.
The approach was one way, then you had to bank hard to get the line to plane up.
Yeah, it was a weird thing. There's video of airplanes making that approach, and it is just like, wait, they're coming in kind of like a skid, you know?
Yeah, you got to come in like slideways or something.
Yeah, slideways.
Yeah,
it's exactly what that is. It's exactly the way that works. Slideways. There is, Bama Brian mentions there's one in France that is right on the beach. Yes, you fly over beachgoers and then also lanes of traffic as you approach and I mean, you fly low.
Yeah.
Because you're coming in on that airfield. Yeah.
So you're coming over beach and traffic.
Yes.
So how many wrecks has happened because of them flying low over traffic?
As far as I know, none.
Okay. All right.
I think they close it. I think they close off as far as the cars and stuff. I think they have some way of closing that off, and you're not supposed to go. I don't know because it feels like the exhaust would just kind of push your car.
Move your car. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so okay. So I have no time to go over this GameStop thing. I have no time now. What else? Bethesda has pulled all their games off of NVIDIA GeForce Now, the little streaming platform. I don't know why that is. We'll hit the GameStop story next week, though. We always have a carryover. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining us on the show. RJ, thank you again each week. Chris, thanks for calling. Josh, thanks for calling. Everybody else listening, thanks for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, just go to our webpage, ingamechat.net. You can email us. We'll try to answer your emails on the air. If you send me a message, try and answer it on the air for you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to our Twitch page that we're doing this with. And just have a fantastic week, folks. Enjoy your week. Have a good one. And we will do this all again next Saturday. I believe Nate's going to join us next Saturday. So, yeah, we'll all be back to do this all over again. Going to leave you with music from Age of Wonders Planetfall, the main title theme of that game. And have a good week. We'll see you next Saturday. At some point, the music comes in. There it is.